So let's get started. In this case study, one, first and foremost, you have the country name, we have the continents, we have 2018, 2019, 2020, and the respective year. So we have country names, list of countries, the continents, and the 4 years whereby we have the population of the people staying in this world. So for example, in Argentina, we have about 44 million in 2018 and so on. So from this given data, we will create a visualization. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so first step is I press Control A. Okay, so when I press Control A, my friends, can you see insert? If you can see insert pivot table, maybe you can type number 3 in the chat box. If you can see pivot table, maybe boleh type nombor 3 dalam chat box. Okay, so when I press pivot table, a box will appear. Sebuah kotak akan muncul. Sebuah kotak akan papa. So dalam kotak ni, what I'll do is I'll just press OK. So when I press OK, you will go to a new sheet, sheet 1, and on the right hand side, you have the pivot table field. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put maybe the country name at the rows, and I just click 2021. Okay, now this is an issue. You see, the issue is, you see here you have a lot of data and dia terabur. Terabur means mix up. So what I want to do is I just click this, right click. When I press right click, kawan-kawan, can you see sort? If you can see sort, maybe you can type number 4 in the chat box. Okay, if you can see sort, okay, so I see some of you are typing, yeah, that's great. So what I'll do is I sort largest to smallest. So when I sort largest to smallest, so now it is organized from the largest to the smallest. And now I don't want the data to be everything. I just want maybe to select top 5 or top 10. So I go here, I click this box, I click value filter. Okay, my friends, can you see top 10? If you can see top 10, maybe you can type number 5 in the chat box. Okay, so when I press top 10, so here top 10 items 2021. So now we have the top 10 items. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I put my cursor over here, I go to pivot chart. Okay, so my friends, can you see pivot chart? If you can see pivot chart, maybe you can type number 6 in the chat box. Okay, so I click pivot chart and then I press OK. So now this is the pivot chart. So normally when you present to your manager, depends when you work in accounting, engineering line, or product management, customer service. So column chart is suitable for when you make comparison for years. So I want to create a bar chart. Okay, so I just change type to, I change to bar chart. So let me go here, click the bar chart and over here. So now this is the bar chart. Okay, so bar chart, let me adjust this. Okay, so this is the bar chart. I'm going to click this. Okay, the problem with this number is too big. So I don't want this number. I just right click, format axis. Okay, once I click format axis, okay, all right. So can you see here display units, kawan-kawan? If you can see display units, maybe you can type number 7 in the chat box. Display units, okay. So just again, I repeat, I click here, I click on the x-axis, right click, and then I go to format axis. So I go to format axis and I go to display unit. So instead of none, I click here millions. So once I click millions, so it will show you what is the millions. Okay, but unfortunately the data is arranged dari smallest kepada biggest, smallest to the largest. So I don't want that. I just click this, right click, format axis, and I go on the right hand side on the format axis area. So my friends, can you see categories in reverse orders? If you can see categories in reverse orders, maybe you can type number 8 in the chat box. Okay, if you can see, okay. So I go categories in reverse orders. I just tick this. So now you see it's in the proper position. But the data is not so nice. So I just right click, hide all field. So now it looks bigger. And this data also is quite messed up. So what I do is, okay, so I just click this. When I click this, my friends, can you see this T sign or chart element? If anda boleh tengok chart element, maybe you can type number 9 in the chat box. Okay, so I just click this chart element. I remove legend. I remove grid line. Okay, and I put data labels. So these data labels will tell me what is the data over here. So there's about 1 to 6 million and so on. Okay, so it's a lot of data. So what I can do is I click this, right click, format cells, and I go to accounting. And maybe I don't want RM because it's not the data. So I press here. Okay, so now this data looks clean. So like China, you have about 1.4 billion. India, you have about 1.4 billion as well. So this is the population data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some interesting visualization, and I press here X. I go here, and maybe I'll just put here, just say T3. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put this name as population of the world in 2021. So I'll just put at the middle, size at 46. Okay, so this is will be good. And I'm going to paste it over here. So this is your data. Pivot chart analyze. I just going to go to insert slicer. I choose the continent and I press OK. Okay. So now if just say I press Africa, so we will see the data for Africa. Okay, so maybe this total is not necessary. And there you go. So when I click Asia, you have Asia. Okay, so if just say I click Europe, you have Europe. Okay, all right. So my friends, did you learn something new? If you learned something new, maybe you can type number 1 in the chat box.